Hi guys, this is Crossy of Eclipse Gaming TV and welcome to my Lower League to Champions League challenge with Dover Athletic. A little bit different this time as I'm filling in a request and giving a bit of a squad analysis of the players I've got that I'm hoping are going to bounce us straight back up to our second straight promotion and get us into league football. Not going too bad so far, 11 or 12 games into the season and we are only 3 points short of the playoff spots, so we are looking in much better position than we were this time last year, and we still managed to get promoted then. So I'm feeling quietly confident, and I'm going to give you a run through of the players that we've got to take us there. So format is I'm pretty much just going to go through my playing squad. Some players I'll spend more time on than others. So starting off with Paul Smith, he came in. He's our goalkeeper who is stepping in instead of Mitch Walker, who has left the club. Main reason for that being because of Walker's knee injury that took him out for most of last season. We didn't really see as much development from him as we would have liked, and if we're talking about long term, yes, of course we would have kept hold of him and given him that time to develop, because if you see Mitch Walker in real life and hear anyone talk about him, down in the non-leagues, he's probably one of the greatest goalkeepers you're going to find in the league at the moment. So yeah, lots of potential there, but unfortunately games don't always reveal that to you in the stats that they give to the players. So we brought Paul Smith in. He's a player that I used a long time ago in FIFA, so I've got kind of an affinity to him. 11 appearances so far, 23 conceded. I'll show you his history really quickly. So you see, bit of time in the Premier League for Southampton. Didn't play many games in the Premier League though, but a lot of football round about the Championship, League One, nearly 300 professional appearances. Yeah, I mean, he's pretty much been a backup for a lot of the teams that he's played for, apart from Southend, but has got a lot of experience higher up the leagues. And I think short term, if we're looking at a player, a goalkeeper that we can keep for this season, maybe one more season, just while we transition and try and push ourselves up the leagues, this is the way to go. And he's done well for us, I think. Has come big and put in some very vital saves. Has probably single-handedly-ish won us a few games this season already. I can think of one from 2 parts ago where there was a penalty save and sort of a one-on-one save that managed to pick us up a 1-0 win there, I think it was. So yeah, he's been good for us. Conceded 23, as I say, but not much of that can be blamed on him, I don't think. Defensive frailties are a big issue for us and have been since we started this series, which is rare for me. It's not something I've experienced with many teams on Football Manager, but it's happened. Oh, it's happened. But we've got decent handling, aerial ability and one-on-one stats. Again, same with reflexes and rushing out. Throwing, again, not too bad either. Command of the area communication is looking pretty weak, to be honest. But never mind. How much that actually has an effect on the way things go. Maybe a better communication number would be better for our sort of weaker and maybe inexperienced defensive line. I don't know. Maybe someone can give me some feedback on that. Lee Hook, well and truly past it. Player assistant manager. Honestly, I don't really need to get him on the playing staff at all, but he won't discuss another contract at the moment, so I can't shift him just to a staff role, unfortunately. Newman Duncliffe, 17-year-old. You look at this 5-star rating, got the potential to become a good League 2 goalkeeper in the future. Filled in for us last season. I bought in Stuart Searle from Met Police, and he wasn't really cutting the mustard, so I thought I'll throw Duncliffe in when he was 16, and he was an absolute beast for us. And even when we got Mitch Walker back, it was a bit of a tough decision as to who to put in between the two of them, which is great. You can see in a few areas his reflexes are better, rushing out still needs some work, but as far as one-on-ones, area ability goes, he's already looking better than Paul Smith is. He's matching him on handling. His communication and command of the area is better. Actually, I think I'm missing a trick here. I may need to throw Newman in for a couple of games and see what happens, but you can already see he's not a million miles off the guy that we've got in. if he carries on pushing and improving these attributes, then chances are we're going to see him being able to challenge for the position next season. I want to have a look at his training while we're at it, actually. Instead of focusing on kicking, I am going to change individual role to goalkeeper, because then that's working on a number of stats that would be useful. You can see concentration decisions need a bit of work, agility already looking good as well. Yeah, so I think we've got potential for him to be quite useful quite quickly, and I'll get Paul Smith in to do a bit of tutoring while we're here. Done. Okay, so that's tutoring as well, just to help him along even more. So as well as going through these players, we're getting some stuff done, which is cool. Right, next, Fraser Franks only played 4 games starting for us and 1 on the bench. So here are his stats here. Mainly a centre-back, but can fin at left-back. 11 heading and 11 tackling on the left-hand side, particularly standing out. Jumping reach on the far right, 14. And strength also not too bad. Good work rate. Good leadership as well, and aggression and bravery also up there in the blue. So he's got all of the attributes. I'm going to have a little look and see what sort of development we got. Yeah, sorry, gone too far. So he's down at his sort of level and probably isn't going to push on much more than that, but gives me a lot of versatility. Probably got unlucky that the 2 centre-backs that we'll come to in a bit have been playing quite as well as they have been, because I would have expected him to be in the rotation and getting more appearances than this. But very useful player to have around. Has slotted in at both of the full-back positions, and despite passing down at 9 isn't too bad for this sort of level, and he can do a bit on the creative front as well, and try and pull a few strings for us. Have a look on his history really quickly. So he has didn't play any games for Brentford, dropped down to this level, a few games in League 2 for AFC Wimbledon, but he's pretty much been a lower league player. 34 games for Welling a couple of seasons ago, 26 before he came to us as well. So, yeah, I think I've done well, all in all. And he's got a bit unlucky. 6.64 rating, but he's been kept out by other players. Marlon Romeo, 19-year-old. Show you the history really quickly. Arsenal trainee, went to Gillingham on a free back in 2012. And since then, he's come to us. We got him on loan for 1 game. Oh, right, this is before I took over. Yeah, he was at Dover for 1 game, went to Eastbourne, and then we signed him on a free, played 7 games for us so far. Show on the report, could become a leading school Premier right back in the future. So again, judging by this, probably isn't going to develop much past this level, and unfortunately might not be with the club much beyond that. You can see on the left-hand side, technical stats not looking too good at all. Crossing 5, dribbling 1. So, yeah, there's a lot of things that he is very much lacking. Marking not too bad, 8. Tackling a 12. Positioning and work rate are good though, and he's got a bit of pace. So really, you've got a bit of pace going forward to scare people. Hasn't got much in terms of an end product or a finish, but his defensive stats aren't too bad either. So he's going to get quite a few games for us this season. Already played 7, partly because we're a little short on options in that area, and secondly because we're playing quite an attacking formation. I like to have someone with a bit of pace there that can do the job. But yeah, we got him involved. A lot of energy coming from that right hand side, if nothing else, and not a bad defender either. Tom Ross, 16-year-old, determination 20. Depends which camp you go for. I heard something around about the time I picked him up that if you've got 20 determination, it gives you potential to develop as best you can as a player. I've since read something which says that's not really the case at all, and there are other ways you need to do it. Get them tutored by someone that's got determination of 20 or as close to it, etc., etc. Basically, the jury's out. And another reason for this, he came in, he was sort of one of our youth pickups, I think. I will just make sure. Yeah, he came in through our youth system, and I watched a game where it was the trialist taking on our under-18s, and he was a player that caught my eye. Bravery 18, natural fitness 18. Aside from that, his numbers aren't all that impressive. Says he can improve a lot in the future. Decent player for Squirrel South already, but silver stars, so still a bit of work to do. But we'll see how he progresses. I think is the best way to word it. We'll probably drop him in for the odd game as well. Maybe a few subs appearances when we're in the ascendancy and we're a couple of goals ahead. Not that happens very often for us. So that's that. Mark Hughes next, not the Mark Hughes. The Northern Irishman is on fairly decent money for us. Let's see. So we got him on board. We got him from Skull South side. Chelmsford had to pay money for him to bring him in. A decent amount of league appearances, as we can see here, for Barnet, for Chester. Started off at Tottenham initially, didn't play a single game in the first team. But wealth of experience, quite a lot of those in the Football League, which is useful for us. Show his report. Good player for Squirrel Premier. Also fairly useful across the roles. I'll show you his stats here. So we've got passing and tackling, both decent. Creativity down at 8, yeah, okay, fair enough. Leadership at 13, good work rate, good fitness, good stamina. So one of those players that will just run and run all day for you. Is able to put a foot in and sort of act in that midfield general role. His passing's pretty good as well, so he can ping some passes. Concentration is good. He's going to be on it all day long for you. Yeah, so relatively creative player, pretty much someone that I just need to get in and get stuck in, which is the story for most of our midfielders. Just try and get around, get busy, help out defensively, which we need, try and create a few things going forward. Let's see, appointed as Dover Athletic Vice Captain. Got it. So, yeah, this is our Vice Captain that we're looking at. I should have known that off the bat, but that caught my eye on the right hand side. So we've got Mark Hughes on board. Unfortunately not the Mark Hughes. We might be doing a little bit better if it was. Daniele Ficagna, the Italian 33-year-old. Show you his history really quickly. So I was playing in Serie A, Serie B, a lot of that for Siena. Fiorentina was his first big club, but didn't get a game for them there. And how did he end up in the... Okay, so he went to Leyton Orient in League One. Played a few games there, actually, before he came down to us, which is interesting. 9 appearances, 3 goals. Sorry, just needed to clear my throat. And we've got a lot of players to get through. So, let's see. Let's go back to his stats. So, as you'd expect for a defender, tackling, marking, heading, all looking good. Positioning as well, all about the same sort of level. He's got good mental stats, very good mental stats in the middle. Teamwork, leadership is up there, determination. Lacking a bit in pace and agility, which you'd expect for an older defender. Not that tall, sort of 6'1", 6'2", so not the biggest defender you're going to find, but he's done a very good job for us. He's come up with some goals in the attacking side of the pitch. Very solid defensively, able to mop up, got all the attributes that you would need, and has done very, very well for us so far. Initially wasn't getting a game because I was playing McCain and Ngoy, but Teddy Ngoy unfortunately was behind a lot of our poor defensive performances last season, so he's looking in a bit of trouble. We'll bring him up here, the 24-year-old from, I should know this, Democratic Republic of Congo. Was with us all the last season, played most of the games alongside Terrell Forbes, who has left the club now, and was actually named as one of our best players last season, which is interesting. But I'll show you his history. Was at Staines before he came to us. Was at Standard Liège before that, before he jumped over to the English game. 37 games for us. 6.85 rating, which wasn't actually too bad. I don't think you can blame anything defensively on him as such, apart from the times where we'd seen him go walkies and lose his marker. But for the most part. Very good strength rating at 15 and good jumping as well. Also decent fitness. He's lacking a little more in the defensive area, so tackling 10, not too bad. Marking 10, heading 11. So yeah, not horrible, but I think the fact that he's a little lower than Ficagna on these areas is showing to a point. Positioning again, not too bad either, but a little off the pace of Ficagna. So that probably explains why Ngoi's been a little bit limited in the appearances. I'll show you here, expected to become a decent Sky Bet League 2 central defender, but there was a few times last season off camera, which you guys didn't get to see, where I was talking to him a bit about his training levels, so I don't think he's really progressed quite how we would have liked him to on that front. And yeah, chances are he'll stick with us. Whether he'll stay at the club if we do get promoted, who knows, but at the moment doing a job for us. The surprise package, I think, signing from Gillingham, him and Romeo effectively came as a pair, was released out of the Gillingham youth system, spent last season on loan, got 15 appearances for Sutton in the Skrills South. But McCain has been our standout defender. I think he's our best rated defender in terms of average rating, 7.02. But yeah, he's been dominant for us. You can see on the right, acceleration and agility is pretty good, as is his pace. So he's going a little more on the ilk of being quicker rather than big and winning all the headers. Think sort of Gary Cahill, but a very poor man's Gary Cahill down at our level. Good work rate as well. Compared to the defenders we looked at so far, Ficagna and Ngoi, he is short on his positioning, on his tackling and on his marking by a couple of points. Heading not too bad as well, but still room to improve there. Again, concentration and composure down on the low end, but this middle box, the mental stats, that's quite a common thing, I think, for the lower leagues. You tend to find players are very good in one area, like bravery or work rate, but the rest are pretty poor. So not unexpected there. Show you his report here. Got the chance to become a good Sky Bet League 2 central defender in the future, and I can see that already. Potential to become one of the best players at the club. Well, that's... Well, actually, that could happen. I could definitely see that happening. So give it a bit of time. So that's McCain. Gary Borrowdale, we talked about, on ridiculous amounts of money. Stats pretty decent across the board. Crossing 10, heading, long shots, long throws and passing all at 10. So he's got the creative aspects there. Tackling not too bad. Marking not too bad. Let's see, lacking a bit on the physical side of things. Positioning 11. So yeah, again, a very decent, solid defender. Gives you a few more options going forward. He's a little more creative than what we've looked at so far on the wide positions as well. And I quite like that, to be honest. I know you talk about these players that act as wing backs and push forward, but the reason I've got Romeo in there, Marlon Romeo and Tom Winter to a point, is that yes, okay, fine. They've got some pace, they can do things on the attacking end of the field, but I believe a fullback should be a defender first point of call. I don't want them to be bombing up the pitch, trying to put a cross in, and then the ball to come back the other way, and for them to be out of position, and for the defensive line to have to cover. If we get anything out of them on the attacking front, bonus. If we don't, as long as they're defending well, I really couldn't care less. That's my sort of view on fullbacks and defending generally. But Gary Borrowdale gives you nice potential for that to happen. But you look at his ratings alongside Kerrier Gilbert, the ex-Arsenal man, how much he'd fallen. He was terrible for us when we first got him. Pushed with it because we didn't have anyone else really to fill in at right back. But yeah, unfortunately, has got a lot of experience in the Championship, around about that sort of level. Played quite a few games, need 200 appearances. But I mean, he came to Gillingham this season and trialled, and you look at the picture that you got here compared to the state that he rocked up to pre-season in for Gillingham, and he was a couple of stone heavier than he looks at in that picture, which I think is the reason why he dropped down, sort of let his fitness go, and couldn't prove to Peter Taylor at Gillingham that he had the the fitness levels to keep up with the rigours of the sort of League Two game and the way it went. So yeah, a bit unfortunate. I'm actually trying to offload him because he's not doing the job for us. Tom Winter's going to hold up that left back spot on form basis, and I can't because the board's blocking the release. It cost them about 70 grand to get rid of him, but that is the big issue. I thought, yeah, Borrowdale's going to be a huge player for us at this level, knowing what he'd done in the past. Someone I was a huge fan of when he was at Coventry, and saw him play. Hasn't worked out. That gamble hasn't paid off, unfortunately. But we go to next up, Tom Winter, pretty much ever-present last season for us. Again, ex-Gillingham man from way back in the day, went to Dover in 2009, has pretty much been there ever since. Lloyd Harrington couldn't get anywhere near him last season, played a couple of games to fill in, and in the end I released Harrington and didn't really bother with cover for Tom Winter. Got his stats here. Again, nothing hugely impressive. Very good in the middle box. Teamwork, work rate, positioning is right up there, and half decent physical stats as well. Marking 11, of course, is a big one, and tackling not too bad. Passing not too bad. Heading not too bad. So yeah, not bad stats there at all. Actually, I did him a bit of a disservice. Again, versatile, can get forward, do a job for us. His crossing leaves a bit to be desired, to be honest, but never mind. At least he's there and he can give us something. Scored 1 goal for us this season. It was an absolute cracker, I think I remember. But yeah, that's Tom Winter. Been difficult to unseat him with anyone so far. Grant Roberts, 23-year-old. Signed him last season from Histon. Started off at Sheffield United. Defensive midfielder. He was our improvement to Harry Milton. But as we can see here, he can also slot into midfield. Decent first touch and passing, so he can do a bit on the creative front. Positioning not too bad. Off the ball not too bad. Corners are alright, so he can be useful on corners. Stamina and natural fitness not too bad either. So again, one of those players, he's not groundbreaking by any stretch, but he's versatile. He can fill a number of roles across the midfield. He can offer us a little bit of everything. His tackling's there, around about 9. Marking's there. Yeah, so he's got a little bit of everything. Very useful for us, and that's pretty much where we're at with our midfield. Couple of players, similar kind of ilk, similar kind of roles, similar kind of abilities, and we are just rotating them. Constantine Carter shows history really quickly. One of those that came through from our development ranks. Again, a player that I watched. I think he scored 2 goals in the trialist game, so I was quite happy to bring him in and have a look. Was suggested that I give him a little run in the side, and the few games he's played for us, the 3 starts, he's not done anything wrong, but he's been fairly quiet, I think. So I will no doubt give him a bit of a run. Good natural fitness, good acceleration, and pace also is decent. Work rate, teamwork is up there along with aggression. As far as his stats on the left, dribbling at 10. But the rest needs a little bit of improvement. Main reason for him, bring him in. Got a lot of energy, good with the ball at his feet, with the pace to run at people and cause a bit of damage. So if he does that and manages to put in a shot or a cross or anything, I'm hoping to see something half useful. So that's the plan for him. And chance to become a leading school Premier right winger in the future. So again, probably won't stick much past this beyond this level, but he's there. Lee Sawyer. Show you him. The ex-Chelsea man, was at Chelsea for 5 years before he moved on to Southend. A little bit of time floating around in the sort of lower echelons of the Football League, but started getting his big brunt of appearances when he dropped down to the School Premier level for Woking. Bit of a snatch for us to get him on a free transfer last season, I think. Got a 7.19 rating for us. 15 appearances, 5 assists, and again has been useful. Show you stats here. Tackling is up there. Aggression 16. Good mental stats on him. Determination. Got good flair as well, actually. Passing at 9. So again, similar kind of ilk. He's a very busy player, gets around, puts himself about a bit, can put a foot in and tackle. Maybe not the most creative player we've got in our team, but he can find assists and be in the right positions, can get forward, get back, that kind of thing. So that is Lee Sawyer, 25-year-old. Show you what we've got here. Decent player for School Premier. Unlikely to improve much beyond that. So we're dealing with a lot of players that probably wouldn't stick with us if we did get promotion. Next up, fairly new signing. Picked him up a little later on in the season. Played 4 games for us so far. The Scotsman, 8 under-21 appearances for Scotland. Have a look at his stats here. Pushing nearly 300 games. Quite a bit that was for Millwall and Stoke early on in the Championship, which is where he did alright. Quite a few appearances for Grimsby 4 or 5 years ago in League 2. So he's been round about league football and is on a slow and steady decline coming to us now from AFC Wimbledon. Unlikely to improve in the future, but a good player at this sort of level. Sweeney is our most creative force in the team, and you have a look at some of these stats on the left and they are very impressive. 15 on corners, 14 on free kicks. So our set piece specialist, 12 crossing, good first touch and good long shots. We haven't seen many of those long shots, unfortunately, though. He's not had too much chance to unleash those. But the important ones for me, 12 passing, 14 creativity, 11 flair. Good teamwork as well. So this is the guy that we need out there pulling the strings. When he is playing, he's in a playmaking role. And now we switch to balanced formation. He is going to be able to do that a little more rather than having to worry about getting up and down and chipping in the defence. So hopefully we're going to see that. A little issue we have on this right-hand side, speed definitely and stamina as well. Trying to manage his fitness. He's not he's not really as fit as we'd like when we got the players we looked at so far. Sawyer, Grant Roberts, Mark Hughes, etc., all sitting on 100. He's down at 85. It's a little bit tough to throw him in, I think. But yeah, go try and get him as many games as we can, and try and get him to fill that role as best we can as well. Player I'm massively impressed with, Daniel Sparks. Show you here. He's a perennial non-league player here. Over 160 appearances though, at the tender age of 23. So vastly experienced down at this sort of level. He knows what it takes. Again, no one stat that really stands out, but crossing, dribbling, all up there. Finishing half decent. We've seen some good finishes from him. So he's got a lot of things that he's half decent at, especially at this sort of level. Again, half decent physical stats. Very much a middle of the road kind of player, can do a bit of everything, as we say, and he's been useful for us. He's been creative. He's produced us 3 goals. He's just a fraction under a 7 average rating for this season. Sort of helped deal with a few problems I've got. Do we have an attacking midfielder in the centre and a defensive midfielder? Do we play 2 wide players? He's sewn up that left-sided spot as an attacking midfielder, so that's solved a few problems for me. Again, got a chance to progress and become a decent League 2 right winger, and I can see that. If he can end up picking a few of these stats and excelling in them, maybe corners and dribbling would be a good one. Not corners, sorry, crossing and dribbling. So he could beat some men, whip some very dangerous balls in, then that would be very useful for any team in league football, I would say. We'll touch very briefly on Alex Sedera, who is well and truly past it. He is hired as our chief scout. Decent player from most Grill North South still, so he could do the job. We put him in that role in the hole, made a decision that he didn't quite cut it anymore. We're not playing that system anymore because we didn't have any other players that could fill it. So unfortunately for Alex Sedera, it's going to be a lot of time on the bench. Tried playing him up front, up top. I thought he was going to bag 10 tons of goals for us, and it didn't turn out that way at all. But we'll show you his stats. And Jonathan, there's only 78 career appearances at 34. I think there's a few things here missing out of his history, to be honest. But never mind. But a vastly experienced player again. Spent a bit of time in the lower leagues, but really came to us from Billericay after 3 appearances. Came to us, played 43 games. As you can see here, this is where the difference is. Only 6 goals, but 13 appearances. Not 13 appearances, sorry. 13 assists. Setting up the likes of Adamola for his 30. Setting up Adam Birchall. So yeah, Sadira is in there. Bit part player now. Rotation option at best. Ifeanyi Allen, we got him on loan from Barnet. Again, similar kind of area to Daniel Sparks. Got a lot of areas that they're decent in. Doesn't excel anywhere particularly. Acceleration's up there. Similar kind of player. Rotating in with Adamola because he's not impressed me all that much. 6.44 rating. Hasn't had the same kind of impact for us as Daniel Sparks has to this point, but we'll give him a chance. Moses Adamola back with us, as we can see here. Decent player for most Skrill north-south sides. I got rid of him in the summer because I thought this was going to be too much of a step up. But you can see he's got pace to burn, 14 pace, 12 acceleration, dribblings there, finishing. Only a 6, but we've seen some great things from him. Few areas down here, tackling 1, marking 4, low throws or long throws 1. Areas where not hugely important, not a very creative player. Positioning not that great, but pretty much he's got pace and he knows where the goal is, as we can see here. 43 appearances, 25 goals, 22 assists for us last season. 8 player of the games, 7.2 rating. He was our player of the season without doubt, and I owe a lot to him to getting us promoted. And he's pretty much taken that right wing spot. Looks dangerous, gets in the right positions, just hasn't produced the same goal scoring threat. But 9 appearances, 3 assists for us already, so can't complain too much for that turnaround. Adam Birchall, 29-year-old, finishing and first touches up there, penalty taking decent, technique decent, very good mental stats, work rate, teamwork, off the ball, probably the best off the ball in the team, I think. I might be proven wrong on that, and good flair as well. Pace, decent, not amazing, but he's quick enough. 9 appearances, 3 of them off the bench, 5 goals for us this season. Wasn't too prolific for us last year. Had him on loan from Gillingham before I signed him permanently. But 21 appearances, 8 goals, 5 assists. He was struggling to find the goal. Didn't quite have. I draw your attention down here. 41 appearances, 34 goals. I think we're talking only about the league football there. He ended up turning in over 50 that season. Cup games aside, was one of the top scorers in the FA Cup. I think it worked out to be for Adam Birchall. Haven't seen that kind of form recreated for him. Unfortunately, he got signed by Gillingham after that stonking season. In pre-season, did knee ligaments, was out for pretty much the whole of that season. Gillingham moved on, got Akinfenwa and Cody McDonald, and Danny Kedwell was banging in goals as well, and just didn't get his chance, so ended up being farmed out on loan. Bit unlucky, paying quite a bit of money for him, but I think very much justified. Not only because of what he's done for Dover in the past, but what he still brings to this team. I'll show you his report actually. Good player for most Skrill South side, or Skrill Premier side, sorry. Not likely to improve much in the future, and that sounds about right. I think now he's found his level. Lee Hughes, 38-year-old. Show you what we've got here. Over 500 appearances, nearly 250 goals. A lot of that in league football. Quite a lot in the Championship for Coventry, West Brom. Came up from the Skrill Premier from Kidderminster before he got snapped up by West Brom for 250 grand. Bit of a steal for Kidderminster, you could say there. 23 appearances in the Premier League for West Brom. Didn't score a single goal in that season. Had a bit of a checkered past, a bit of a criminal record. Spent some time in jail during the earlier part of his career. But we have a look at his stats. Very, very good mental stats here, which happens with age. Which is very useful. Pace, not a whole lot of pace there, but he's not that kind of player. Lee Hughes is pretty much good target man, good holding player. No, he's not huge in terms of height, but is able to get stuck in. As you can see, 17 aggression, 16 determination. Technique is good. Is good creative force with his 10 passing. But first touch 12, heading 11, finishing 13. So he's one of those players that can get up there, can win balls in the air against big central defenders, got a decent first touch, knows where the goal is, as can be proven by this. He's pretty much going on for nearly a goal every 2 games actually, which is a great little turnaround. And yeah, it came from League 2 down to us, free transfer from Wickham. Very pleased to have him. Unfortunately got injured in pre-season, so he's not got as much football as he would have liked, but I am starting to rotate him in now. And also we have Nathan Elder, 29-year-old, came from Ebbsfleet to Dover a couple of seasons ago. 2013 was his first year. He's floated around sort of lower leagues, a little bit of time League 1 and League 2. 275 appearances total, 81 goals. Didn't get that much football for us last season. Only played 20 of the games, 4 goals, 4 assists, 1 player of the match. Reason for that is we had Elliot Charles rotating in for a bit. Adamola was in stonking form. We got Birchall in midway through the season. He pretty much played every game that he was with us during that time. And trying to displace Adamola and Birchall up front was very tough. This season, though, he's getting more of a look in. Adamola dropped away. And very good player, Nathan Elder. We're seeing him score some crackers from outside of the area. Good strength and jumping and good heading. Finishing again 10, not too bad for a big man. His long shots are at 6, but he's been cracking them in from just outside the box, so I'm a little surprised by that. But again, very good target man that knows where the goal is. Can go and win headers against defenders, can stick them in from the back of the net if he gets on the end of one from a set piece. 8 appearances for us this season, 5 goals. So very impressive stuff from Nathan Elder. Little show here. Decent player for School Premier, unlikely to improve much in the future, according to the report. And lastly, really quickly, Sam McKindy. Didn't think anything was going to happen to him. Gave him a contract last season because he was on non-contract terms because he put a couple of goals in for us, but he's gone out on loan to Cray for the season. Chances are, I think, we're not going to be using him very often at all. When he comes back to us, we'll probably sort of end up getting released, whatever happens. I was sort of seeing some of the goals he scored. Now he's doing a job for us, even though his stats didn't reveal too much in the way of usefulness, and also because I think he was related to John Akindi, who I watched up at Ebbsfleet quite a few years ago now, probably in 2007, who I was a huge fan of. You know, one of those players that you could see their fitness wasn't there because they weren't training full time, but they had the whole, like John Akindi had the whole thing. He knew where the goal was, he was quick, he was strong, he could hold the ball up. The only thing he needed was just match fitness and match sharpness, so you could tell if he got into a league club he would have done the job, but it turns out that didn't really happen, and I'm not quite sure what's happened to him now, actually, old John Akindi. But yeah, I thought, oh, if that's his brother, I'll throw him in, see what happens. Got a bit of an affinity for him, did a decent job for us, but again, he's out on loan and probably won't be with us for another season. But that's pretty much it. Any thoughts that you guys have got for me, things that you'd like me to touch on, players that I should be using more or using in a different way and to what I have done, please let me know, and I will do my best to accommodate and switch it around and see if we can get some better results and push for that playoff spot. Thank you very much for watching, and if you haven't subscribed to the channel already, please do. There's lots of good stuff coming up for it. Thank you very much.